Good afternoon. I want to thank you for the warm welcome I've had from the organizers. And I'm here on behalf of Juliana to present this project. She's the coordinator. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here with us today. This project was developed at Pelopas University in the south of Brazil, and its title is Museum of Insignificant Stuff. It's been conducted by students from different areas: anthropology, museum, organization, graphical design, etc. The proposal was born out of very simple questions that had been put forward during the classes, informal conversations, like what do we do with those objects we love, those objects that had been with us for most of our lives. When we first proposed this idea, the objective was to create a collection with the different types of objects that had belonged to different people in a virtual space or a non-space, especially thinking where our objects were when we would no longer have them. Those objects, or some of them, have a longer life than we do. They spend a life with us and then they can have a second life, or they can have a second life in a museum with a different person. Some of them disappear physically, or their significance disappears because these are just memories that end up living together with their owners. It so happens that there are few everyday objects that end up in museums. These are part of our day-to-day life, but they are poorly represented in those institutions, either because they have no historic value from a certain angle of history, or because they have no value as memories. They are biographical objects, mediators of every social relation, as Bruno Latour says. Preserving in the virtual world each and every banal trivial object with an affective value belongs to any person as a bearer of memories and participates in constructing identities. For that, we seek to conduct an inventory of that, to preserve their information, and based on that, to promote education, actions, and citizen participation. Through these topics as a starting point, we propose the creation of the Museum of Trivial Objects, a museum organized based on the donations of our visitors. That is, our collection exists in the virtual world. It exists in the physical world, but registration is stored virtually, where these objects are shared through the internet. The main purpose of this museum is to present the value of objects that are allegedly trivial as museum objects, objects that can build narrative, that can speak of people. In museum studies, it is very important to reflect upon the value of objects in contemporary life as science through their relation with memory, including those objects that are apparently insignificant. Created on Facebook in 2014, this museum has over 2,000 followers, and it has a collection that is very large and ranges from dolls, clothes, etc. In this museum, objects are classified as objects of affection, travel, melancholy, worship, and we organized a sorting method. In addition to Facebook, the museum is also on Instagram and on a website administered by the university. Network users can donate their objects directly through the museum website. All they need to do is fill out a form with information and include a photograph of the object. This is a virtual museum, but we conduct actions in the real world. The first picture shows something we did at the flea market of balls. We conducted interviews of pelotas. We conducted interviews, and you may visit some of those in the website of the museum. In the second picture, we see the exhibit that we organized in May. These non-trivial objects. It was something that was chosen with objects chosen by children and their own stories. This museum is just an experiment that seeks to apply the basis of museums, and more than a platform, it seeks to drive a reflection on people and things. It has been very well received among the population. To wrap up, let me present 3 objects of our collection that reflect what exists in the museum. A ring, an animal. That ring was given to a lady when she was 15 years old. It was made with material that had belonged to her parents. Then the umbilical cord was donated by a lady that had saved us for 35 years. It was the umbilical cord of her first daughter. And the other was donated by a girl. There are a lot of stories in our museum of trivial stuff. I invite you to share your objects with you. Thank you very much.